Hello, everybody. My guest today is Mark Richard. He is an engineer with over 20 years experience in high technology product development and business operations. He spent the first part of his career in the medical device industry designing MRI systems before transitioning to the SaaS world. He has an MS and PhD in electrical engineering, both from Case Western University. Mark, you ready to take us to the top?
I think so.
All right. What is JangoMail and how do you guys make money?
So JangoMail is an email deployment platform. We deal with opt-in emails for those who want to do broadcast or transactional emails. And we make money by charging people for sending emails.
Okay. And so how do you beat Mailchimp?
Well, so Mailchimp is really focused on the small customers and those that are want to have small lists. We really focus on those that are enterprise level customers. Generally speaking, 50,000 emails or more per month. Those that want to do large quantities of email, and we have live support. You can actually call someone and talk to someone to get the help you need.
It's very rare you see an enterprise sale lead with copy on their homepage that says try 10,000 emails free, no credit card required. That's a very kind of SMB sort of approach. Why do you choose that wording on your homepage if you're selling enterprise accounts?
Well, it just works for us. We want to give people the confidence that let's give them a shot and let people try us out. There's really no risk involved, so give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. But you don't think it says anything to the enterprise customer that says, oh wait, maybe this isn't meant for enterprise. It's a small business tool. It's a no credit card required trial.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, maybe it does, but it's worked for us so far, and so that's just right now.
Okay, so help us understand an average customer. What are they going to pay you per year to use your technology?
Well, it just depends on the quantity that the quantity that they're sending. So, we have customers that are paying small amounts, $100 a month maybe, and we have customers that are paying us tens of $1,000s a month in order to spend massive quantity of email. So it really just depends upon the volume of send that they're doing.
I totally understand that, which is why I was curious about the average. So are we talking maybe $1,000 a month is a good average?
I think, that would be a fair number to use as an average, yes.
Okay. And what if I was paying you $1,000 a month? How many emails am I probably sending?
So for $1,000 a month, you're probably sending on the order of million emails, maybe more, maybe less. It also depends on what types of emails that you're sending, whether you're sending a transactional email or broadcast email. But give or take, you might be sending about 1 million or more a month.
Okay. And why would someone use you for transactional email versus like a SendGrid or a Mandrill or these other tools?
Well, so we provide the support. We've also got a number of features that some of the others have struggled to do. Some of the other features that whether it's attachments or some of encrypted type of sending that they need to do, secure email attachments. That might be some reasons.
Okay, interesting. And put this on a timeline for us. When did you launch?
We launched, I think it's been about 14 years ago. A entrepreneur, AJ Goyle, was the founder of JangoMail, really when the email business was still very, very young, and grew the company. And then it was sold about 5 or 6 years ago. I've been working with the company since then.
Well, did you buy it or were you part of the investor group?
Part of the investor group, yeah.
Okay, you put in your own money or they tapped you to come run it?
I was tapped to come run this. Yeah.
Okay. Why? Why not go do your own thing?
Good question. I've been with the investor group for that period of time, and it's just one of the things that I do right now.
Okay, but you're taking a lot of the risk that an entrepreneur who is starting from scratch would take. You also are de-risked a little bit because the product already is, I guess, probably has customers and some revenue.
Right.
Are you just saying you actually just enjoy that more? You don't like going from 0 to 1. You're more of a 1 to 10 kind of guy?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Right now, at my, at what I'm doing and at my point in the career, it's just, I would say that what I do now is the 1 to 10. Yes, growing companies and seeing what we can do with them to make them profitable, to grow the customer base and provide great service.
So have you been inside of Everest Group for a while and done this amongst many companies that they've acquired or invested in, and you're kind of an EIR?
Yeah, so I've been with Everest Group for that about 5 years, and yes, I've worked with many of the probably most of the portfolio companies that we have. We have there about I think it's 8 different companies, and really worked with each of them to grow the sales there.
That's great. Now, do you participate kind of on that side of the thing as well? In other words, most of these firms, if it's a true private equity fund, there's kind of carry and things like that. Do you get some of that upside, or no? Are you really just incentivized based off the equity you have in this part of the business?
Yeah, I'm incentivized basically by the businesses that I run and how they perform.
So just Django.
Yeah. Well, actually, Django, and then we have another company in Columbus, Ohio, that I'm participating in as well.
Which one?
That is called US InfoSearch, or Martin Data it's Martin Data LLC. US InfoSearch is the kind of the brand name that it goes under. It is a company that provides information for identity verification and risk management.
So you run a CEO there too?
Yes.
How do you do both?
You split your time as necessary, and you just do what needs to be done. Work a lot of hours, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, good. All right. So launched in 2004, bought in 2013. You came in about 2013, 14 when Everest came in and bought it.
Yes.
What have you scaled the company to in terms of total customers today?
So total customers, we're probably at the about 5,000 or 6,000 range.
Okay.
So yeah, that comes and goes. It goes up and down.
Okay. And then look, I mean, you said earlier an average of $1,000 a month times 5,000 customers. You can do the math. I mean, that puts you at about $5 million a month. Is that right?
That would be a bit high.
Okay. Yeah. I was about to say, it's okay. We can correct one of the other two numbers. Is the average too high of 1,000 a month, or is the customer count of 5,000 too high?
So the average, the average, if I looked at it, is probably a little bit high.
Okay.
I think the average enterprise, and so we have a number of customers that are at the low end. So if I'd say actual average, yeah, it's not going to be $1,000 a month.
You think it's closer to 100?
Yeah, somewhere in there, maybe. I don't know exactly.
Okay. Many people listening might go, wait, how does he not know this thing? He's running the company. This is like a critical thing. This is how you get obviously back into kind of MRR.
Yeah. Look, there's some aspects of this that we don't necessarily make public.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, but you already said average was 1,000, and then I'm just multiplying numbers you publicly gave me already, right? That's fair, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But now we're realizing they're not accurate. So I'm trying to give you a chance to correct them. That's all I'm trying to do is correct what you already said.
Right. Yeah. So if we look at a true mathematical average of it, maybe it's closer down. It's not $100 a month, but it's somewhere in there, somewhere between those two numbers. And that's about where we'll go with this.
Okay. And have you help me understand kind of the company growth over time? Most companies, once they're owned by a private equity firm, sometimes they can kind of flatten out as you go for operational efficiencies. I mean, are you guys flat or still growing?
We have not grown a lot over the last number of years, but our focus is always to continue to grow the company.
Why do you phrase it like that? I mean, what if 5% growth is actually a good thing?
I mean, that's
like, what do you compare?
Sure.
You're comparing yourself to something. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said we're not growing that much. You have to compare yourself to something to say not that much. So who are you comparing yourself to?
Just compared to where we'd like to be.
Okay. Well, everyone always wants more growth.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, when you say not a ton of growth, I mean, are you talking 10% year over year or 30% or less?
I'm just not going to get into those numbers right now.
Okay. Just to be clear though, I mean, so we'll go back to a minimum on the other since we can't go down the growth path. You said somewhere in the 100 range in terms of an average. So let's just go conservative and say 100, right? 100 times 5,000 customers is still a healthy company at $500,000 a month. How are you driving growth? Is it getting new customers altogether or driving expansion revenue across the cohort base?
Both. Yeah. So we do look to existing customers and see what else we can do for them, as well as we try to go out and get new customers. So both directions.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm asking is, what has been more effective for you, driving expansion or brand new logos?
Driving expansion has been more effective for us.
Okay, and why do you believe that is?
Getting new customers is always at the enterprise level is always a tough thing. But we continue to do that. But just in terms of what's been effective for us, it's to drive expansion of current customers.
Mm-hmm. And what are the pricing axes that enable you to drive expansion? Usually it's number of subscriptions, number of sends, things like that.
Yeah. So because the number of sends is proportional to the revenue, we look for what we can do in terms of the number of sends. How can we maybe if a large customer is using multiple players to deploy emails, what can we do to get additional business and take away from others that are sharing that business?
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. And you keep mentioning enterprise, but you're really not landing enterprise. From what I can tell from your funnel, from the outsider's perspective, this is really meant around landing someone at $100 a month and then hoping they drive increased sends over time and build up to $1,000 a month over time.
Not necessarily. I mean, those customers that we get, there are those that come in at a much larger volume, and then there are those, as you say, that we get at a lower volume and then and drive up. Yes.
What is I guess maybe what's the operational muscle you've been built in terms of team? I mean, do you have an internal team focused on kind of a sales and SDRs to A's and things like that?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a team focused on sales and as well a customer service team that really reaches out to current customers and helps them along the way.
And Mark, what is the total team size today?
Total team size that we have here is about 15 people, in addition to some additional offshore development teams that we have too.
And there's a big debate right now on if customer success reps should be incentivized or quota carrying based off expansion revenue they drive. Have you decided to make your CS folks quota carrying?
So our CS folks do get rewarded based upon expansion of current customers. That works for us. I can see situations where it wouldn't be the best, but it works for us to do that.
Interesting. And have you guys, with obviously you and Everest together, have bootstrapped this after you spun it or acquired it, or have you raised additional institutional capital?
No, we have not. No, we're doing everything internally in terms of capital.
That's great. Now, well, hold on. So let me clarify there. Has the company required additional capital to grow, either from Everest investing more or outside other investors putting money in since you guys did the spin out or the acquisition in 2013?
No, they have not.
Okay, got it. So you're basically running this like a bootstrapped company. Yeah, that's great. That's good. All right, very good. And then what about the other economics? So churn's critical in a SaaS company. How do you think about retention?
Retention is really important, obviously, and we make every effort to do that. We've done pretty well holding on to customers and growing them with time. So yeah, that's one of our constant efforts to make sure that we're reaching out to them and giving them the attention they need.
So I mean, I know I've talked to a lot of other people in this space, and I kind of know what an average churn rate is for this kind of price point in this space. I mean, are you churning 10% of your revenue per year, or is it more or less, would you say?
I would say it is right around that 10% of the revenue churn. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you see, do you more than make up for that hole on just expansion revenue, ignoring new customer adds, but just expansion revenue?
We try. We're not always successful, but we certainly try.
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, would you say most years you're hitting about 100% net revenue retention when you add back expansion?
Pretty close.
Yeah. And then obviously definitely higher than 100% once you add back new customer adds.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you doing anything to try and curb that down, the 10% gross revenue churn, or you're actually saying that's standard, it's going to happen?
Well, I think it is going to happen, but we make every effort that we can to try to keep that to a minimum. Customers do come and go. It's just a life cycle thing. And one reason that we see some customers leaving is just because they've been bought by someone else and now use a different platform or taking email deployment internally. So those kind of things do happen. They're just kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
But where we can, one of the differentiating features for us is that we do have the ability for people to call us and give, and so that we can hold their hands in what they're doing. That makes a big difference. And
how aggressive are you being with getting new customers? So, what are you happy to spend to get a new $100 a month customer?
So I won't go into the exact numbers that we spend there, but it's really about the potential that they'll provide. So, we're aggressive about the marketing efforts that we do in order to get new customers.
Well, let me ask differently so you don't have to actually say what the number is. I mean, how aggressive are you being in terms of payback period? Do you want to get your money back in 6 months or 12 months or 24 months?
I would be happy with 12 months.
Okay, good. So if someone's going to pay you $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year, you're happy to spend $1,200 up front to get them.
Yeah.
Got it. And where would you typically spend that besides your kind of internal sales team and headcount? Any direct paid stuff?
So we do AdWords. We've done banner ads in the past. We've also done, a little bit ironic, but we've also done direct mail as well.
Does that work?
I'm sorry?
Does that work?
It does. Just like any advertising method, the hit rate is relatively low, but to a certain extent, it does. The one thing about direct mail is that people still see it, right? As some of the emails that are sent out, they just get deleted right away. Mail that comes, people see it, and it might sit on their desk for a while. And especially if you're doing that with in conjunction with other campaigns, it's just a name recognition thing.
Yeah, interesting. How do you track if someone signs up for a piece of direct mail? Is it a unique URL or something on the piece of mail?
Yeah, it's a unique URL or a unique phone number that we use, those kind of things.
Phone number or URL? What's more effective?
We do a phone number, generally speaking.
Yeah, you basically you use one of these services which generate a unique phone number kind of per each piece of mail or something?
Right, so that just so that we can say, okay, we got these phone calls, they came in on that number, we can track those things that way.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so what's the plan with this thing? I mean, look, private equity, typically, you build the company, you add some efficiencies, and then you sell it 4 or 5 years later. Are you selling the company right now?
No, we're not. No, we're continuing to grow this as we can.
Okay, but you said growth is kind of flattened out. So at what point do you say, okay, it's time to sell?
Well, I think that'll just play out here. We do have a number of initiatives in order to try to increase those sales further and get a growth back to where we'd like it to be. So, no, the selling of the company is not in the cards right now.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand how you compete with someone like a Mailchimp. I mean, it's really just dominated this space like hardcore.
Yeah, it has. But you know what? There are just lots and lots of organizations that need mail deployment. And some of them are just not well suited for someone like a Mailchimp. Mailchimp's great for those who want to send small quantities of email. They've got a list that they upload, and they send it once a month, twice a month. For those that are doing larger sends, that doesn't quite give them the support or the capabilities that they need.
Yep.
But you're right; it is a challenging environment with some of the major large players that are in there.
Yeah, no, interesting. All right, very good, Mark. Let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Oh my goodness! I'm going to go back to a book called First Break All the Rules, and it's probably about 20 years old, but it's been very interesting in terms of how to work with people and manage an organization.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Not directly. I know that's going to be a disappointing answer for you, but
no, it's fine. Number 3, what is your favorite online tool for building the company?
Favorite online tool? I've been a fan of HubSpot. I think they do a great job in some of the work that they do.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 6 and 7.
Okay, we'll call it 6.5. And what's your situation,
Sure.
Mark? Married, single, kids?
Married with 2 kids, one in college and one who's married.
That's great. And how old are you?
I am 51.
51. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I wish my 20-year-old self, that's a great question. There's an old saying that says that no wise person ever wanted to be younger. You just gain knowledge as you go forward in life. And some of that knowledge is, circling back at that time that I could make better decisions and have a view as to what the world is going to become. That would have been very useful to me.
Guys, there you have it. Mark Richard, JangoMail, founded in 2004. The founder sold it to Everest Group, a private equity firm that Mark was working with in 2013. He now runs it, 5,000 customers, call it north of $100 per month per customer. So north of 500 grand per month in terms of revenue at this point, using all kinds of things to get new customers, including direct mail with unique phone numbers to track attribution, pricing based really off number of sends. He's really optimizing for these enterprise accounts, sending high velocity or high amounts of mail. Bootstrapped since they acquired the company. They are profitable, 15 people in Ohio with the offshore dev team, 10% revenue churn about gross annually, call it 8% expansion. So 98, 99% net revenue retention annually as they look to scale. He is totally happy with a 12-month payback period as they look again to find that growth again. Mark, thanks for taking us to the top.
Absolutely. Thank you.